Well, so far, Britain has expelled Russian diplomats and announced a royal boycott of the Soccer World Cup, which takes place in Russia later this year. But there is talk of other retaliatory options, including a cyber attack. Now, the UK government has a specialist unit which is dedicated to offensive cyber actions. It is jointly run by the Ministry of Defence and the intelligence services, which are known as the GCHQ.
The UK government has a number of tools at its disposal in the sphere of cyber warfare. The UK has offensive cyber capabilities, and one might expect that these are put to use against Russia in the eventuality that it's needed. I think it's well within the realms of possibility that the UK government will undertake or use its offensive cyber capabilities against the Russian Federation, and if it does, then I think it will most likely target those entities and organisations within Russia that are responsible for conducting Russia's information warfare against the West.
Well, I'm joined now here at the big table by Jean-Francois Gagne. He is the CEO of the Canadian-based company ElementAI, one of the globe's go-to places for firms that want to use artificial intelligence. He's also an advisor to the Office of the Canadian Prime Minister on cyber security. Jean-Francois, it's good to have you on the day.
Thank you for having me.
You were at a conference earlier today, a panel. You spoke on a panel that I moderated. The Aspen Institute Germany held its annual AI conference here, and we talked a lot about AI, cybersecurity, and how they mix. I want to just ask you, can one exist without the other? You know, just in the broad picture, can we talk about cybersecurity, cyber attacks, without talking about AI, artificial intelligence?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's possible. The impact that AI is having in this space is similar to the one that we're seeing in other industry, where this technology enables to do much more, with much less resources. So now tapping into data, you can automate tasks that would have required you to have tons of analysts, you know, scrapping that data, and you could do that at a level of efficiency and at a cost point that was not possible before.
Okay.
So you can totally have, you know, people doing the type of attack that we see there, but investing millions and millions of dollars. I think what surprised everybody, if we take as a point of reference the American election, is actually how small the units were and how effective that was.
Right.
You know, the kind of scale they managed to reach, with such, from a state perspective, limited resources.
Yeah, sure. I want to get your thoughts on the crisis between the UK and Russia in a moment. But first, what can you tell us about Canada's cybersecurity readiness? I mean, if Canada were in the same situation as the UK tonight, would it have suitable cyber options?
So Canada has always been pretty proactive on the cybersecurity threat perspective. There's been an agency that has been there for quite a while to monitor and watch what was going on. In the light of all the different events that we've seen with the last budget that was announced a few weeks ago in Canada, the Prime Minister took a step forward and then gave the mission to the Canadian Security Establishment, that's the name of the agency in Canada, to now be in charge and accountable for attacks on Canadian interest. So it's not just government, but it's also businesses and citizens.
And
then to respond.
With a huge budget, it's what, $500 million?
He added,
on
top of what's already allocated, which is quite significant, $500 million, followed by a yearly additional budget of $100 million just for this agency. Now, on top of that, they've also invested, I think it's over $100 million in the RCMP, which is the Canadian Federal Police, to create a cyber crime division that would take action on civilian-type situation and be able to respond. Again, they're making that unit, not only establishing it, but making it sustainable for the foreseeable future.
Before we run out of time, you know, Russia is known to be one of the best equipped cyber attack ready countries in the world. Do you think that's why we haven't heard the UK say publicly that a cyber attack is in the works? Or are they just, you know...
So it's still a gray zone.
Yeah.
Is a cyber attack fully traceable? Is it something that you would be able to recognize as a full-blown attack from laws of war, and I think that's all the gray zone that maybe some states are exploiting. What has been made clear, and if I use Canada as a point of reference, is for a cyber attack, wherever that comes from on Canadian interest, they will have the ability to respond. Now, in the UK case, what kind of escalation does that represent? We're kind of in an unknown territory here.
Exactly.
Is that a proper response? Is it too much? And here, I mean, we're going to have to watch how they're perceiving this before we can judge. It's really hard to forecast in this specific situation.
Jean-Francois Gagne, the CEO of ElementAI. I wish we had more time, Jean-Francois. It's fascinating. I'm talking with you. We appreciate you coming in tonight. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.